abortions, but there are a lot more poor white women than there are black women. And this may have crossed the line with some Republican women. You know what I'm saying? This might have been a little bit too much for them to show that I control your body. Now I'm in charge of you. You know, if nothing else they've done, like putting a couple of men on the Supreme Court with a history of abusive behavior towards women, this really does it. Whereas I can have other citizens spy on you, sue you, the cab that took you there, the doctor and everybody. If nothing else shows Republican women how little they matter to Republican men, this ought to do it. If this doesn't do it, then they are really idiots. Because this would take me over to the other side. And this would make me vote the other way, because these people need to be thrown out of power. And if they don't get this, they won't get anything. I'm wondering what's between their heads. Because next, they will be ensuring that they can't have birth control pills or IUDs to make sure that white women have more babies. Because we all know all this is about is to have more white children born to try to, 10, 15 years down the road, when there be more minorities in this country, or really more global minority members in this country. We know what it's about. Nothing else moves them. And this is the other thing, Dr. B, when you were talking, that I'm glad this happened. Another reason. Here we are talking about the Voting Rights Act. Now they've done this right here, which is just icing on the cake for me. Now, with all these, God has given us all these horrible, horrible things happening. The fires on the West Coast, the flooding, tornadoes, and hurricanes all around the coast. These people are going to need infrastructure. In fact, they're going to need more infrastructure and more dollars. Now, I am sick of the Democrats bringing a knife to a gunfight, okay? This is the chance to get that women's health thing codified, what's his name's Voting Right Act passed. Don't sign off on anything unless this is included. We will hold steady. If you all want to get everybody some help, help us. We're not going to sign off. Congress, do not sign off. Hold them steady. Listen to the squad. It's time to bring a gun to the knife fight. Why the majority of this country disagrees with what's going on? So why are we letting a minority control the majority?
That's right.
Otherwise, this is crazy. So I want us to bring a machine gun, okay? And I want us to use it.
I'm scared of you.
Not really that violent, but you understand.
Yeah. Be prepared. Be prepared.
That's
right. Be prepared to win. Be prepared.
That's right. Fight to win.
Be prepared to win.
I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane. This is the Healing Circle. The Healing Circle is a Friday conversation with colleagues and friends, all of us committed to the work of the African American Child Wellness Institute. We talk about mental health and physical health, the whole health of our community, of our family, of our individuals. We talk about that in the face of health and other disparities that we experience in this community, in this country. We talk about it in the context of the aftermath of the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and all the other victims of societal police violence. And we talk about it within the context of understanding and looking at violence that we commit against each other as well. And we talk about it in an environment that is attempting to restrict voting rights and with intention eliminate any gains or possibility of assuming our rightful place at the table of decision in this country. So that's what we do every Friday, and we're glad to be here. And I would just want to sort of recap kind of where we are and why we're having this conversation. And one of the critical things we always talk about every week is the impact of COVID-19. And, you know, the COVID-19 in itself is a metaphor for all of the other. It's a way to look at all of the other challenges that we face, right? And how our communities are doubly impacted and, in a sense, doubly confused about whether or not we can trust the doctors, the medicine, the science, and the public policy makers on the one hand, but knowing with certainty that we are dying and we are hospitalized and we are getting sick, but still ambivalent about that. So part of this conversation is to speak towards and speak from a point of clarity, encouraging us to both know, understand, and act in our own interests. So I'm going to pass it back to Dr. B, because I think you and Charlene have laid out a lot for us to be concerned about, angry about. And Dr. B, when you say angry, then what do you do about the anger? I hear you saying it's okay to be angry because you've declared your anger. And I appreciate that, because as often as not, we are told that, and we're described in a negative way as angry people.
That's
angry
right.
Black woman, angry Black man, angry Black kids, right? And that's a put down. That's another way to dampen our sense of being and our voice. So what do we do with anger? How do we embrace and understand anger and convert that into action that will free us, heal us, liberate us?
Yes, thank you so much. And you're so right about the stereotypes of angry Black women and Black men. And I think about Baldwin, who wrote that to be Black in America is basically to remain in a perpetual state of anger. Because every time you turn around, there's something to be legitimately angry about. So, and this anger that we're experiencing is the anger that we're.
You're going in and out. You went, there we go.
Okay, the anger that we're experiencing is so pervasive that it shows up in all areas of our lives. So it makes it difficult to function. It makes it difficult to think clearly. We kind of get locked down with that anger. But one way that we can use the anger to propel us to good is a construct called sublimation. It's a defense mechanism. And sublimation means that what you're doing is you're taking that angry feeling and those experiences and you're balling them up real tight and you're holding them in your hand, and you're going to use that to make energy to create something positive. So, in fact, the African American Child Wellness Institute was born out of sublimation because I was angry of seeing white providers treating Black children poorly. I was angry with seeing Black parents in the waiting room, and you're in the room with their child, getting the child to love and trust you when they need to love and trust their parents. So some of that anger has to be moving forward. Right now, my anger about what they're doing to our bodies, whether it be COVID with disproportional representation of us catching the disease, getting in ICU, dying, and not getting the shots because of multiple reasons. That perpetual state of us always being last when the goodies are getting handed out. That anger to me leads me to this place, to this healing circle, where I can have voice, where my community can have voice and validation. That anger leads us all to do the work we do, to have the voice we have, to go in the dark places and be light. That very anger means that every single one of us has the power to make a moment change. That's what that anger does. So instead of seeing all of our kids are dying from gun violence. What are you doing on your block? Make sure the kids on your block, just your block, are safe.
Mm-hmm.
And if everybody did that, all the kids would be safe. If everybody took their shots, we would be safer. If everybody took care of their children and taught them well and fed them or helped to feed others, we would not be where we are in these disparities. Because these disparities mean that we don't matter. And I am not going to go through my life without fighting for us to have voice. So that's what you do with your righteous anger. You do something positive with it.
Shirley, let me jump in and ask you. On my speaking stumps, I use the phrase, we get the misery, they get the money. And it seems like, and this is me speaking as a journalist and observer, my observation is that our misery is a good business for somebody. And I've said this often, like everybody on the planet, we want there to be a cure for cancer, maybe a pill you can take that prevents you from getting cancer or cures you from cancer. But we look at the history of the study of cancer, and we look at that process of studying and developing and marshaling people and resources over a long period of time has been a $1 trillion enterprise. Look at Mayo Clinic. Look at the Cleveland Clinic, the great cancer clinic in Houston. I can't think of the name of it, but there are stellar research and hospital organizations created to attack a problem that is really a global problem, in this case, cancer. And so I look at our disparities the same way. So if we create trillions of dollars, we create economies, right? Nurses, doctors, technicians, builders, contractors, food service, landscaping, transportation, airport, airplanes, all the things that go into making the healing enterprise functional, big business. So my question is, how can we begin to see, Shirley, that we need to create in our own minds a public mind that says our health is our business. Our health is our business. My grandmother used to say, boy, mind your business.
That's right.
And I come to realize what she's talking about now. We have to mind our business and understand the revenue streams associated with problem solving and insert ourselves in that equation. Otherwise, we simply remain in as a pool of misery that they can open and close the gates to in ways that fuel their advancement and their economy. It's just like being enslaved.
Yeah.
It's not different. What do you think, Shirley?
I think the battle is of the mind, and the slavery is here. There's a lock on our mind to say we can't don't trust one another. You got to go over there to them to get what you need because you can trust them. Don't trust us. And what I say, Al, I feel so blessed to have been born in Chicago, to have been born at Providence Hospital, a hospital that Dr. Daniel Hale Williams started, the Black doctor who did the first open heart surgery. I feel so blessed to have grown up in the city and under a pastor like Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright, who talked about our history, that the reason we can have blood component therapy is because of another Black doctor who died in Georgia because he couldn't get taken to a hospital to get something he created. I think about all of the Black inventions. Heck, most of the things that make life easier, and the PC, many things, refrigeration, Black inventors, Black scientists. We don't know all of the things that we have created. The brilliance that is ours is never talked about. So what I say, and let me state now, I am not anti-white. I am pro us. I'm talking about inherent bias. We've got some white allies. I got some white relatives, okay? We've got some white allies that fight alongside of us and who understand and know that these biases exist and that they affect the health care that our community receives. So there's Dr. Ron Jankowski and some others who are, I am partnered with an organization for single payer healthcare now. And he sends me wonderful articles all the time. They are upset about the difference in the health care that BIPOC communities receive. And don't let me just say our community. I want to say BIPOC. One of the solutions is for us to push and get more people in our community to go into healthcare.
Yes.
We need to raise money for scholarships.
Yes.
We need to come to the government and the state and ask them to provide scholarships for nursing, technicians, medical students, every job in the hospital, as well as technology and other jobs that are jobs of the future. Because we can't look back at jobs that were the big deal back there, but technology and healthcare are things that propel the future. And we need to be educated so that we're in those positions. Farming, that's another good one. Can't live without eating. And the Black farmers in the South, we're only 1% of the farms. And I think we used to be 12%, but because we were not allowed to get the loans from the federal government where they would just tear up their application. So I'm saying, my problem is, Al and Dr. B and the rest of you guys, Lily and Brenda, I'm too darn proud of being Black. I mean, I'm almost arrogant. Al, you know how I am, and Dr. B, you know how I am. If I hadn't been raised like this, my principal, gym teacher, everybody was Black till I got to high school at Lindblom. When I got there, I hit racism for the first time, but I was so strong by then, you had a fight on your hands. My parents were always having to come up to that school for me, telling them you don't treat me like that. So I thank God for having that base. We need that base here for our young people to grow up and know that you are somebody. You are intelligent, you are strong, you are from a people of great intellect who have, my God, Washington, D.C., Benjamin Banneker. How about that watch, that wooden watch that keeps perfect time? I mean, our kids need to know these things.
Yeah.
And I've been on the board of NIDCAD for over 18 years, Network for the Development of Children of African Descent. Our kids need that. They need that knowledge so they can walk around arrogant. Being arrogant with the knowledge of who you are, your Africanness, does not make you evil, mean, or angry. It makes you proud, and rightfully so.
That's right. And to be pro-Black does not mean you have to be anti-white. To be pro-woman doesn't mean you have to be anti-man. You can love yourself without hating somebody else. And with that, I'll pass it to Brother Al as we conclude.
Well, we're going to close it right there. This has been a great conversation. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to those who are listening here on Facebook and Black Press USA. I'm Al McFarlane. This is Conversations with Al McFarlane, the Healing Circle. We'll see you next time.
Oh, Queen Justice, where are you? Did they beat you up or no? Lock you on the ground, take the crown away from you?
Oh, Lady Liberty, red, white, and blue. Did they take your dignity with their bigotry? Teach you that you're born to lose.
Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. Better believe, roll up your sleeves. It's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough.
We've had enough
of all the rules you break.
We've had enough
of all the money you make.
We've had enough.
No more life for one way. Action, no more distraction. Every step we take, we gain traction. If it can happen to one, it can happen to all. United we stand, divided we fall. Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. Better believe, roll up your sleeves. It's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough. Had enough
of all the rules you were breaking.
We had enough
of all the money you were making.
We had enough.
No more life gets taken.
We had enough.
This is a proclamation.
Free or guilty, it's gonna get filthy. You better believe, just roll up your sleeves. It's gonna get rough, it's gonna be tough. We all agree, we've had enough. Had enough
of all the rules you're breaking.
Had enough.
All the money you're making.
We've had enough.
No more life gets taken.
We've had enough.
This is the proclamation.
We've had enough. Trayvon Martin and Tommy Rice. We've had enough. Michael Brown and Eric gonna pay the price. We've had enough. Philando, Breonna, George Floyd. What? We've had enough. So many gone. How can we fill the void? How can we feel? We've had enough.